I'm Dr. Cynthia, Professor, Computer Science Engineering Department, KCT. Today we'll see about OSI reference model. The objective of this lecture are data communication among heterogeneous system, need for layered architecture, design issues for layers, and OSI model. Network complexities. When we say internet, it is a collection of different heterogeneous network. What do you mean by heterogeneity? It means it is different types of hardware and software, different operating system, different types of data to be transferred. The data transferred belongs to different systems located at different ends with different capabilities. The resolution of the monitor will be different. The data format will be different. The data exchange mode will be different. So the complexity lies in the heterogeneity of the internet itself. What is a protocol? Protocol is a set of common rules which is required for two computers to communicate with each other. OSI reference model is an architecture or framework proposed by ISO. It is a model of how protocols and network components could be made. Open, it means that it can be used by anyone. It is not a protocol, but it is an architecture or a model which helps us understand the designing of the network architecture. OSI model describes how data flows from one computer through the internet to another computer. It has been divided into 7 different layers, that means 7 different manageable subtasks, and every task has an independent function. It is similar to the functions we write in a program, or if we take object oriented language, it is like a class. Why do we go for a class in object oriented programming? You define a class for getting the input. You define a class for writing the output. You define a class for each task of the program. What is the objective? It gives you modularity. Say if the program is big, everyone can work on an independent module. If there is an error in one of the module, you can correct that error without disturbing any other module. If you are going to upgrade the module, say you are going to get input today from keyboard, tomorrow you want to get it from a web interface, then what you need to do, it's enough if we change the input class alone. Similarly, in OSI model 2, we have got 7 different layers. Each layer has a unique functionality, so that when you are going to modify the function of a particular layer, it will not affect the other layers, or the way in which it affects is very minimal. So that's why we go for the layered architecture. The entities comprising the corresponding layers on different machines is called as a peer. We are having 7 layers. The objective is that every layer in a sender machine has to communicate with the corresponding peer of the receiver machine. So that is the objective. So it is peer communication. But the peers will not be able to communicate directly. It has to communicate only through the layer which lies beneath it. So a layer, say an application layer, it needs to communicate with the application layer of the receiver, but it cannot communicate directly. Instead, it has to communicate to the presentation layer, and the presentation layer will communicate to the layer beneath it, so on and so forth, until it reaches the physical layer, and the physical layer of the sender will communicate with the physical layer of the receiver, and then again the communication will happen to the layer above it, so on and so forth, until it reaches the application layer. Here you can see there are 7 layers. So every layer, if you see the topmost layer, it adds its own information as a header. It has the data to be sent, namely D7. Along with it, it attaches a header information H7. This header information is required only by its peer layer, namely the application layer of the receiver. The other layers doesn't bother what is the content of the header. So in turn, the physical layer has to transmit the bits to the physical layer of the receiver. So every layer will attach its header, send it to the layer beneath it. The layer beneath it attaches its own header and then sends to the layer which is beneath it, and so on and so forth until it reaches the physical layer of the receiver, where the header will be removed, processed, and then will be given to the layer above. This layer will read the header, do the necessary processing, remove the header, and then give it to the layer above, so on and so forth until it reaches the application layer. So this is why we are having 7 different layers. So ISO is the organization which has framed this OSI model. Here we have got 7 different layers. They are application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. Here is an acronym for you to remember the layers in order, because you cannot change the name of the layers. They have to be in the same order. The acronym is: all people seem to need data processing, or you can always address these layers in top-down approach or bottom-up approach. Some books would have dealt these 7 layers in bottom-up approach, in which case you can remember the layers as: please do not tell secret passwords anytime. This is the acronym which is used to remember all the 7 layers from physical layer towards the application layer. These are the interaction between each layer in OSI model. Here we see the 7 layers in sender side and 7 layers in the receiver side. We have seen that every layer is capable of communicating only with its peer. Yes, for which we have a protocol called as peer-to-peer protocol. We have already seen protocol, a set of rules defined for communication to happen. So here application layer of sender can communicate with the application layer of the receiver with the help of application layer peer-to-peer protocol. Similarly, transport layer can communicate with the transport layer of the receiver using transport layer peer-to-peer protocol. Every layer can communicate only with its peer layer with the help of peer-to-peer protocol. We have seen the effective communication can happen only through the layers beneath it. That is, the application layer cannot communicate directly with the application layer. Instead, because there are so many functionalities which are required for transfer of the message across the internet, for which we need the help of all 7 layers. So every layer has to communicate with the layer beneath it before it gets transmitted across the transmission medium. Yes. For application layer to communicate with the layer beneath it, that is the presentation layer, it needs an interface. We know what is an interface. It is a medium for communication. Yes, when the communication is across the peer layers, we call it as peer-to-peer protocol. When the communication is across the layers beneath, we call it as an interface. The layer application layer and presentation layer will communicate with each other with the help of layer 7 to 6 interface. Similarly, presentation to session layer with the help of layer 6 to 5 interface or presentation session layer interface. Similarly, we have got interfaces to help communicate with each other. It is like say an application layer you can consider as someone who is speaking Hindi. Yes? Application layer of the receiver also speaks Hindi. Say presentation layer you can consider as a person speaking Telugu. The presentation layer of the receiver side also understands Telugu. Yes, session layer you consider as English. Yes, the session layer of the receiver also understand English. Yes, so if a Hindi speaking person needs to communicate with the Hindi speaking person, yes, but they are far away. How you can communicate? The only way he can communicate is with the Telugu speaking or the English speaking person who is beneath it. So what he does, he encapsulates the message what he wants to send and give it to the Kannada speaking person or English speaking person. Yes, how he does communicate with the other person? It is with the help of interface. What is an interface? The interface between the Hindi speaking person and Telugu speaking person understands both Hindi as well as Telugu. So that is the interface. Yes, so that's how the actual communication in our network protocol happens. Yes, so here normally the lower layers are the physical data link and network layers. Remember, the lower layers in OSI model are physical data link and network layers, and application presentation session and transport layers are called as upper layers. Why we segregate them as upper and lower layers? It is because only these lower layers are involved in communication across hops. Now what is a hop? There is a sender system, there is a receiver system. A sender will be in a network in India and the receiver will be in a network in US. They cannot communicate directly because of distance. So what happens? From the network in India, they communicate with some other router which can help it get transmitted to the network in US. So there are number of routers in between. Yes, so a sender will send it to router R1, R1 to router R2, R2 to router R3, and from R3 to the destination network. Yes, so this each one we call it as a hop. The link between sender and R1 is one hop, R1 and R2 is second hop, R2 and R3 is third hop, R3 and destination it is the fourth hop. Yes, so if we consider across hops, only the lower layers are involved. The upper layer functionalities are involved only in source and destination missions. The other layers are involved across hops. Yes, so that's why we have distinction as upper and lower layers. When we consider these 7 layers, we should remember that every layer has got an independent address. Every layer has got an independent unit of transfer. For example, when we speak about physical layer, we should speak about bits because the unit of transfer across physical layer is bits. When you speak about data link layer, the unit of transfer is frames. When you speak about network layer, the unit of transfer is packets. The other upper layers, normally we call it as protocol data unit. Transport layer, it is TPDU, transport layer protocol data unit. Session layer, SPDU. Presentation layer, PPDU. Application layer, we either call it as application layer, PDU, otherwise we call it as message in general. Yes, so just remember that when you are addressing the functionalities of each layer, you should remember to mention the unit of transfer in that layer. When you speak about data link layer, you cannot call it as a packet. When you are considering a routing function, you cannot say a frame is routed. You should say packet. That's why the unit of transfer for each layer is significant. Then coming to addressing, mainly we have got 2 different addresses. One is the IP address, the other is the MAC address. What is the need for 2 different addresses? Why can't we use the same address? For that, we need to know what is a MAC address and what is a IP address. We'll see it later. We'll see what are the addresses used in while communicating. The first one, we said it is MAC address and IP address. What is the need for two different addresses? Internet as a whole, it considers only the networks. Every network needs to know the address of another network. For example, if I say a particular pin code, say 641049, this pin code indicates that it belongs to India, state Tamil Nadu, city Coimbatore and place Ganapati. If it is so, the network also should understand or have some address to identify the destination network, for which we have a logical address which is called as IP address. The IP address is a logical address which is used by internet to uniquely identify any other network in the whole of the internet network, and the IP address also has a host address to identify the system within the network. Why is MAC address required? When we have an independent system, we don't need a network card. But when we are connected to, say, a LAN, we do have a network interface card. Every network interface card do have a unique hardware address which is called as a MAC address. The MAC address is usually 48 bits and is represented in hexadecimal notation. This MAC address uniquely identifies the hardware with the help of the MAC address which is embedded in the network interface card. Even though we are able to identify a particular host within a network with the help of the IP address, for actual communication to take place, we need to have the MAC address. So MAC address is the address through which actual physical communication can take place across the physical cable. We do have a ARP table, which is an automatic protocol which maps any IP address to the MAC address. For now, we should understand for that for communication across networks, we need to have IP address, and for communication within hops through the physical link, we need to have a MAC address. Apart from them, we do have port address and specific address. Port address, every application will have a unique port address. Standard applications have standard port address, and if you user writes an application, then we need to assign a port address, and we do have a specific address. The transport layer, for example, it uses a socket address. The socket address is a combination of IP address and port address. In case, say, you are browsing in a system. At a time, you are opening 4 windows. One, you browse something. The second window, you are going to access your mail. In third window, you are going to download a file. Then there are 3 different client applications. Each of this client will run its own protocol, will communicate with its own server. The server will be located across various networks in the internet network. So when your HTTP client sends a request to HTTP server with the help of a HTTP protocol and the message is received back, it arrives at the system with a particular IP address. Similarly, your FTP client request will be sent to FTP server somewhere, and the result will arrive at the same system with the same IP address. Yes, whatever your mail client has requested, again it will come from the mail server to the same IP address. Now all 3 messages have arrived to the same machine. Now it has to be delivered to the correct application, for which we need a port address. This IP address comma port address is called as a socket address, which will identify the machine as well as the application attached to it. So this is about the addresses. This is comparison of TCP IP and OSI model. I told you the OSI model has got 7 layers. TCP IP, it has got 5 layers. There is no change in functionality, only that certain layers of OSI layers, since the functionality is not that big, they have been combined together in case of TCP IP. For example, application, presentation, session layer together in TCP IP model, we call it as the application layer. The transport layer, it exists both in OSI as well as TCP IP. The network layer, again, it lies both in TCP IP and OSI model. Yes, the physical and data link layer, it is combined in case of TCP IP model. So the OSI model, it is a 7-layer model. TCP IP, it is a 5-layer model. We do have application layer, transport layer, network layer. Sometimes network layer we do call it as internet layer in TCP IP model, and the lower layer sometimes we call it as network layer, or it is called as the physical layer. So we have seen what is the unit of transfer in each layer. We have seen what is addressing, which is followed by different layers. For example, physical data link layer, it uses MAC address. Network layer, it uses IP address. Transport layer, it uses socket address. Yes. And similarly, physical layer, the unit of transfer is bits. Data link layer, the unit of transfer is frames. And network layer, the unit of transfer is packet. The other layers, it is called as protocol data unit. Similarly, in every layer, there are certain protocols which operate in that layer. For example, physical layer will have its own protocol for physical transmission. It will have its own encoding techniques. If we are going to transmit using Ethernet, the protocol will be Ethernet protocol. For everything, IEEE standard is defined. Suppose you are going to use Wi-Fi card, then the corresponding protocol will be IEEE 802.11. If you are going to transmit using Bluetooth, then it will be 802.15. Similarly, a separate protocol for Wi-Fi, WiMAX, etc. Yes. In network layer, we do have protocols such as ICMP, IGMP, IP, RARP, ARP. Every protocol has got its own function. For example, ARP protocol will map IP address and MAC address. IP protocol is used for actual transmission. ICMP, it is a error control protocol. IGMP is a multicast protocol. Similarly, in transport layer, we have got 2 vital protocols, TCP and UDP. Apart from that, there are few other protocols. If the transmission is very vital, reliability is needed, you go for TCP protocol. If delay is very important, you go with UDP protocol. In upper layers, as I said, depending upon the application, you will be using different protocols such as SMTP for mail, FTP for file transfer, HTTP for browsing, DNS for mapping your URL and IP address, SNMP is for network management, Telnet is for remote connecting. So this is about mapping of each layer with its protocol and comparison of TCP, IP and OSI model. To summarize, we have seen what is the internetwork, what are the heterogeneity involved in internetworks, what do you mean by layering, why layering is needed, protocols, what do you mean by peer, what are the different layers in OSI model and TCP IP model, what is the unit of transfer and what is the address. Thank you.